For the last 2 years, this has been around now, and it still is something that can confuse people on a daily basis. It can confuse attorneys and everybody. People have audio connection issues. They don't have the right meeting ID or password. Zoom. How to use Zoom for your divorce proceeding. Zoom can be extraordinarily helpful. It can be helpful for your case, it can reduce costs, it can make it to where the cases can continue on even if the court proceedings are not in person. However, Zoom does have a little bit of a technological hiccup to it in the way that you need to understand how it works. And if you've never used it before, it can be a little bit stressful if the first time you're learning how to use it is literally 5 minutes before your case is going to start. So if it's 5 minutes before your case is going to start, that's not the right time to learn how to use Zoom. I hope you're not watching this 5 minutes before your hearing. And if you are, maybe just call your attorney or, Google something more Zoom related specifically of how to log in. This is if you're looking in advance of it and you have a court case coming up, because it's important to know how to use it. And I routinely tell people to do a trial run. Make sure it will work on whatever device you're going to be using. If you're going to be using your cell phone, make sure that you have it set up in a way that, obviously your connection is good and you can use it. So you may need to use it with your attorney's office. And most attorneys now have the ability, like we have a Zoom account for our office. We can test it with clients. We can do kind of trial runs and dry runs of different things. So making sure that people have good connection capability and understand how to use it, and that their device is something that's going to connect. It used to be at the beginning a couple years ago when we were doing Zoom hearings that there would always be like one person, in every Zoom hearing or Zoom deposition or mediation that would be having some form of an issue with it. It's got a lot better. Now it's just, not every hearing now. Now it's, every few hearings, there'll be some type of difficulty. Who knows what's going to come up, but that's why making sure that you're ready and being just as you would if you're going down to the courthouse, you're probably going to be printing out Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm showing my MapQuest age of, when you used to actually print out driving directions. I used to do that as an attorney. Like I'd print out, have in the front of my notebook of the driving directions, going to the hearing, completely off topic. But that was how I would prepare for those hearings. Now for Zoom, it's making sure I have the Zoom information. So I have the meeting ID and the password if there is one for the case, and making sure that for every case that looks correct. And then sometimes I'll look at it on my calendar versus the notice, or if there's an order setting the hearing, and some courts do separate orders with the Zoom information. So I'm looking at it to make sure I have the right information, looking to make sure the client has the right information. When I'm doing my preparation with clients prior to hearings, I'm usually asking them, do you see the Zoom information? We have that shared with you on the calendar. Do you have any questions about it? I feel that's an important part, because if they've never used Zoom, it amplifies the stress levels up a little bit more when you're, it's like 2:59 p.m. and you have a 3 o'clock and you can't figure out where to, so then the calls immediately start and frantic emails, or if you're sitting in a waiting room and you don't know what the heck is going on. And a lot of times the judges will bring you in to this room when you log in, and sometimes it's just a screen that says, the meeting hasn't started yet. And a lot of times, we'll get calls of like, what the heck is going on? It's like the judge just hasn't started the meeting yet. Sometimes they'll say waiting for the host to start the meeting. So once they bring you in and you're sitting in their waiting room, again, that's another time when sometimes we'll get some calls or some emails of saying, I'm just sitting there, it could be 5, 10, 15 minutes, sometimes in docket hearings, like domestic violence injunction hearings in Florida, where there's a whole bunch of different cases on a docket and you get called one by one, you may be waiting in that waiting room for a long period of time. So you're just sitting there. And again, that's also where people get a little freaked out, because they say, am I supposed to be in here? Like, where's my attorney? What's going on? Because you don't see who else is in there. I'll tell clients, you can reach out to us, and just to make sure, we'll let you know if there's an issue, whatever can come up at the last minute. And the courts understand there are technology issues every once in a while. If it's a continual thing, I've definitely seen judges, they see a party having connection issues every single time on smaller hearings. Sometimes if we're going to have a bigger hearing or trial, they'll say, we need to figure this out so this doesn't happen again. There's different ways around that to just make sure that you are there. You're there at the hearing, you can hear what's going on, and then the court can hear you. So those types of video and audio issues, probably a little bit more for a Zoom primer and other videos out there that are specifically about using the Zoom platform. There's so many different ways to log into it, and even audio based. But I generally tell people, there's that ability to you'll see on the Zoom invitation a lot of times that you can call the number to call in. And I understand that, because if there's some connection issues on audio, but sometimes people will just call in from that number and not use the video. And it kind of defeats the purpose of Zoom. The idea is so the court can see you and can, start to put a name with the face. And I think that's an important part of it. And if it's not in person, then that's really the only way that they have to get to know you as a person. And if they're dealing with your children in your case or, your financial issues, I think it is something that you probably do want them to see that you're a human being. So being able to log in, being able to have sound that they can hear in a good situation, that there's not like dogs constantly barking, like right back at you. Don't do it in bed. Like just don't do it while you're smoking a cigarette, like, or drinking a beer or something like that. It's not like the YouTube, interview videos. Don't do that. The court's not going to think it's funny. They're not going to think any of that. They want, just like if you were going to court, you are going to court. And that's sometimes the things that I don't think people understand. You're in court. I get it. It's different because it's on a computer or on your phone. It's the same respect. When I'm appearing at a Zoom hearing, I am giving the court the same respect and giving my clients the same respect as I would give in court. So therefore, in return, you need to make sure that you're giving the judge your full and complete attention and your full respect. That's also dressing appropriately, even though it's a Zoom hearing. I get it. Sometimes like, I don't understand. I see all these funny things out there. Just don't. This is, especially if it's a divorce hearing or family law, this is your life. This is your livelihood. It's not the time to be funny. It's not the time to mess around with, on a Zoom hearing. So again, this is a little bit of information about how to do it. And I think that with some trial runs and a little bit more information through this video, I hope that gives you a little bit more confidence in making sure that you understand that it's a great way. It saves people a lot of money. And honestly, driving time for attorneys is expensive. Driving from, their office to the courthouse, parking, waiting in the security line, waiting before, all that's cut out. And then you're literally just connecting and you're in court. So, so there are some benefits to it, especially for some of the smaller, shorter hearings, but you got to work out the kinks of it first to make sure that you have the ability to log in and you can hear what's going on, the court can hear you, and the court can see you. Thank you for watching.